Hello there. How you doing? You good? I'm good. So, what are we going to talk about today? Financial stress, money. For those of you who don't know me, my name is Mario, and my channel name M.Geezerbub. That's me. And what I like to do here is I like to talk about things meant to help fighting with depression and anxiety. And yeah, today's episode is going to be about that. It's going to be about financial stress. So, welcome to a little help. One thing you should know, I'm going to elaborate when I say this. I'm talking about financial stress. I am not going to give financial advice by any means. Okay. I don't have a lot of money. I live a very minimalistic lifestyle where I don't need much in the way of money. So I have little, but I also need little. You know what I mean? So that's just me. Um, and that right there is actually the first thing I want to talk to you about is having a little minimalism in your life. See, odds are a lot of people that will end up seeing this video are people who already have like a wife and kids and a car and the house and all that stuff that life tells you you're supposed to have. And by some degree, I I do agree a little. I do, but not as much as you might think. It depends on what it is. Like, think about that. Think about being the guy who has all that. And for everything that you have to pay for regularly. And I don't mean like pay for it now, it's yours. No, I mean like pay for it constantly. You know what I mean? In this case, the things that I've never felt I needed much was a big fancy house, big fancy car, you know, being a minimalist. I go out of my way to not have to not owe so much. And that's another thing I want to mention. A lot of financial stress comes from owing a lot of money, not lacking money, but owing, which is worse. Because owing money means that as soon as you get the money, you have to give it away because you owe it to begin with. You know what I mean? And how did they get you so much with that? Think about it. Think about all the things that quote unquote life that people around you tell you you have to have when you grow up. And you'll notice that those are all things that you can't buy in one try. You always have to make payments constantly. And they make it so it takes as long as humanly possible. Like if you go to school, you have to pay when you're done, right? But you have to pay little by little all the time. Or a mortgage on a house. I don't know about that. I'm thinking that's how it works. Or a car. All these things that are impossible to buy in one amount. So they make the price ridiculously high, and then they justify it by saying, "Oh, well, give us a little bit now, a little bit later, and then a little bit later, and do that again for the next 10 years." You know what I mean? Me, the only debt I've ever had was one student debt, and I've only made the mistake of doing that to myself once. And even then, that debt is almost gone. You know what I mean? I owe less in terms of how much money I owe. I owe less than 2 grand, like in general. You know what I mean? In terms of money that I owe. So, as opposed to the kid that just got out of college and he's in a hurry to get his next car, in a hurry to get the next wife, in a hurry to get the next house, and then all that has to be paid for, and then he's trapped having to do all this 9 to 5 stuff just to keep up payments, as in not paid for yet, but it'll be done in so many years, and then you're stuck like that. So that's what I wanted to bring up. I wanted to make it clear that it's not good to put yourself in so many positions of owing so much money, okay? Just because life says that's what you should do doesn't mean you have to. And me, out of all people, I'm the only guy in my family, in fact, I defy it as much as possible, okay? The more life tells me I should do something, the more I'll do the opposite. Just because, like, I know how they think. I know the trickery, okay? I don't fall for that shit. And you don't have to either. Uh, so yeah, stop putting yourself in a position of owing so much. Okay, and the easiest way to owe less money is to stop thinking that you have to buy these things that they say are worth thousands and thousands of dollars, and then say it's okay, you can make little payments, and then they get you in that chain, and then you're stuck in it for good. You know what I mean? If that's what you want, do what you got to do. But even if I were to put myself in that position, I'd be far more careful. I'd make sure that I owe far less. Let's talk about how you end up owing so much money. Well, one of the best ways I find is to make sure you have a good grasp of being able to compare the money that you need versus the money that you have. Okay. Now, the money that you need, that could be anything. That can be um, money for something that you want to buy that you do have in your bank account that you're saving, or you have it hidden somewhere else. Or it's money that's coming in. You haven't been paid yet, or you don't have it at all. Regardless of the state of the money itself, it's money that you need. Then you have to compare that with the money that you have. What do you have? The stress that money causes is when, yeah, exactly, when that happens. When how much you need is always towering over how much you have. And one of the easiest way to end up in this trap is when you owe all the time. Okay? If you're the kind of guy who's okay with owing stuff, that's okay. But you don't have to bulldoze your entire life with it. Owe one thing at a time. Don't owe so much. You know what I mean? Balance out what you need with what you have. Okay? I don't know much about money. I'm not big on the details, but even I can tell you this. Me, who's an artist for a lifestyle. You know what I mean? If I ever make money, I'll probably muck it. I'll probably make it after I'm dead. Because that's, like Elvis Presley, Michael Jackson, these guys, people still buying their albums. These guys are dead. Or maybe I'll make some, or maybe one of my ideas will take off. I'm writing a book. I'm doing all kinds of stuff. So for me, especially, it's hard. But not really. I probably have it easier than most people. Not because of the money that I have, but because of the money that I don't owe. I live the lifestyle of a minimalist. What little I have stays in my pocket. If I don't need to buy anything, I don't, and it stays in my pocket. You know what I mean? So think about that. Try to think for yourself. That's probably the biggest advice I can give you on this one. Okay? Stop being told what to buy, being told what to do, because people will come up to you and say, "Oh, that's life." No. Your life is up to you. You make the decision for your own life. So if you owe a lot of money, you decided that too. You know, you can decide to put yourself in that trap. And I'm here to tell you, you can also decide to get yourself out as soon as possible. You know what I mean? Better yet, prevent it. Preventing is the easiest thing to do. So don't owe so much. Okay? Slow down on what life tells you to do, what parents tell you to do, what teachers tell you to do, and do what you are comfortable doing, especially when it comes to money. And more importantly, make sure you always have a grasp on what you have compared to what you need. Okay? If you have little money, don't need so much. Start with your basics. Okay? Do you have food? Do you have shelter? If you need medication like I do you have that? Are you happy with that? Boom, there you go. You got your minimum. Start with that. Stop trapping yourself. Okay? Anyway, I hope you enjoyed our little talk. I did. And if you want, leave a like, subscribe even. It's up to you. I do this for you guys. And I'll talk to you later.